If you're a busy exec, entrepreneur or business owner and you struggle to hit your protein goal, then this video might be for you. So guys, I'm a dad and a business owner, and I know the challenges when it comes to hitting your protein goal on a regular basis. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a full day of eating where I'm going to be choosing meals that are very easy to put together, very efficient, and I hit a total protein goal of 150 grams in one day. And I'm doing this because I know that a lot of guys struggle with this. They struggle with not having the time to prep meals. So I want to show you how easy it can be for you to put together a couple of meals a day, including a protein shake that allows you to hit 150 grams without it having to cost you too much time or effort. So with that being said, let's start with breakfast and let me show you what I have on a regular basis that allows me to get roughly between 20 to 28 grams first thing in the morning of protein. So something that I always like to recommend that people have in the house is eggs, and buy in bulk because it just makes it a lot easier and a lot more simple. So I always like to go for free range eggs, and I'm actually running a little bit low. I always like to have 3 boxes. So all we're going to do is we're going to have 3 full eggs and then only 1 additional egg white because that's where the protein is. I'm going to get the pan nice and hot. I'm going to add a little bit of butter, and then it's just going to be like a very quick kind of omelette, which is going to give me kind of a whopping 26 to 28 grams of protein. And then what I do, I have that with some oats as well, and then that gives me a more sustained breakfast where I feel energized and it keeps me full for a good 3-4 hours. So start by making sure the pan is nice and hot, and then I like to add about 5 grams of butter. Make sure it doesn't burn. Right, let's go. So 1, 2, 3, and then just 1 white. Okay, so I like to add a sprinkle of salt and a dash of black pepper. And then the secret is not to let it stick, which I don't always get right. And then give it a little flip. Oh man, I think it's time for a new pan. There we go. So as you can see, that took no time at all. I would say no longer than 3 minutes. Just make sure your pan's hot enough so that the eggs don't stick. And it's just a really quick and easy way to get 26 grams of protein in the morning as your first meal, so that you just are ready to kind of crack on with your day and do all the busy tasks that you are meant to be doing in the morning. So yeah, eggs are your secret weapon. Make sure you've got a ton of them in the house because you can just play around with how you prepare them. You can make an omelette, you can have them poached. But for me, I like to have them with a little bit of butter. And the reason that I take out for one of the yolks is that otherwise the calories stack up too much, and also too many egg yolks also carries a lot of cholesterol. Albeit good cholesterol, it's still cholesterol. So I always like to recommend between 2 to 3 full eggs a day, and then the majority of the protein is going to come from the whites. So if you wanted to, if you really had to ramp up those numbers, you could even have another egg white in there, which would bump it up to like 32, for example. So I'm now about to go and do some work. I've then got a haircut booked, and then I'll show you what I have for meal number 2. So I've had my haircut and I had to pop into a petrol station to get some petrol. And when I was in there, I grabbed myself some protein bars. Now guys, these are great because if you're ever stuck or if you have a bit of a sugar craving, instead of grabbing a chocolate bar, these are fantastic because they are only 190 calories and they have 20 grams of protein per bars. I normally go for the Barbell or another brand called Grenade Carb Killer. They are also really nice. And it's just good to have them lying around either in your office, in your car, at home. And when you have that craving and you fancy something sweet, these are really good. But instead of buying a chocolate bar that is packed full of fats and carbs, these at least have 20 grams of protein. So as an emergency, they're always good to have lying around. So next time you're at a petrol station, grab some. You can get them in the supermarket and they are super handy. Right, so we've got the right fuel on board and we're just about to hit the gym, and today is a upper body day. So let me quickly show you what my favorite movements are. Right, so I just finished the workout, and without fail, I always have a post-workout shake. Now I have 2 scoops of whey protein in here, and that is a whopping 50 grams of protein. And I also sprinkle in some creatine for some muscle, to help with muscle strength and muscular endurance. So already with snack number 2, I'm up already kind of 75 grams with only 2 meals. Now, if I'm not exercising, I generally won't have a protein shake. I might have a protein bar, for example, but I'll never have the same, a shake or a bar on the same day. I think it's just too much artificial food and it's not that great for your gut. So I always choose one or the other. So I might treat myself and have a protein bar over coffee, not as high protein, but still not bad, 20 grams, 22 grams. But yeah, the protein shake post-workout that really helps me out. And if you're someone who's busy and you're really struggling, then maybe that might be a good hack to help you get your numbers up. So I'm absolutely roasting. So now I'm gonna head back home and let me show you what I have for my post-workout meal. Right, so let's go into meal number 3, which is usually my post-workout meal. Now this meal needs to be quick. I don't wanna spend too much time faffing around with cooking stuff. And today I'm gonna share with you 2 options. One that you can buy if you're on the go and you really have no time, and one that you can prepare, which is quite high in protein with only a few ingredients. And the good thing about this option, is that you don't actually need to cook any food. So option number 1 is gonna be just a bag with some salads, okay? And then here's what I like to have. Either some prawns. Now, the thing about prawns that is great is they're very high in protein and super, super low in fat. Believe it or not, this sort of quantity, which is only 140 grams, is coming in at 24 grams of protein. Like, that's not bad. So if I'm really busy, I will literally put half a bag of salad on a plate. I'll chuck in this bag of prawns, or this little box of prawns, and it's literally 24 grams of protein, which isn't too bad for lunch considering I've had my shake already. So that puts us already at 100 grams. Now, if you don't like prawns, another option which you can do is, again, some salads and a can of tuna. So this actually has a little bit more protein. Let me just check. So here we're looking at per 100 grams, 25 grams of protein. And this, when it's drained, its net weight is 120. So you're looking at maybe around 28 grams of protein. So again, super quick. And the good thing about this is if you're in the office, you can grab a salad bag and you can you can have ones that you can just open, or even some prawns just from the store. And it's really easy to kind of put on a plate and just eat. Now you can make it a bit more sexy by adding, some tomatoes, what else? Some avocados, that will start to ramp up the calories. But for me, I want it to be quick, efficient. And because I've had my shake, it doesn't need to be too filling and it works really well. So I'm looking at getting around anywhere for lunch, between 25 and 30 grams of protein. So that's option number 1. Option number 2, if you're really stuck, or if you're traveling, or if you're going to a petrol station, or you're stuck at an airport, is to grab yourself a sandwich. Now, the thing about sandwiches where you need to be a little bit careful is if you get something like a cheese sandwich or a sandwich that has a ton of bacon, for example, then it's going to have lots of calories, but it won't have the protein that you need. If, however, you grab yourself a chicken salad sandwich, which pretty much you can find when you're buying a sandwich. Now, this sandwich here has, per pack, 26 grams of protein. That's really not that bad for a sandwich, and only 270 calories. So what I'm trying to say is, even if you are really stuck, as long as you're mindful around the choices you make, even with a sandwich, then you can still get your protein target and keep them in check. You just need to be mindful around your choices. Choosing something like a cheese sandwich is going to have more calories, and it will have maybe only 8 grams of protein. So this is a great option if you're really busy, you haven't got time. Obviously try not to eat sandwiches every day. They're not that filling, but as an emergency, it's a great snack. And either of these meals, you're already looking at 100 grams of protein, and we haven't even gone into dinner. So yeah, that's what I normally like to have. I keep it simple. If I need to have more calories, then I put more stuff on the salad. I might put some avocado. I may use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil as well. So that all depends on what you're trying to achieve in your goal. But with regards to protein, 24 grams in here, 28 grams here, and 26 grams here. So shouldn't be too difficult. Right guys, so we are now on to meal number 4, which is usually dinner. And this meal I normally like to save some more calories for. And in order to hit my protein goal of 150 grams a day, all I now need is about 50 grams of protein. So because I'm with the family and because I'm not having to rush things, then I like to have most of my calories in the evening. And let me share with you what I normally have. And honestly, hitting 50 grams of protein is really not that difficult in one meal, especially if you've got a big appetite and you've been exercising. So option number 1 is steak. Now, I always like to go for either rump, ribeye, or sirloin. And when I'm at the shop or at the butcher's, I always like to see what has the least fat and then just go with that. So in this option, I've got myself a ribeye steak. Not that much fat, as you can see. And this has 220 grams. And in terms of protein, it has 19 grams per 100. So that would be, yeah, you're looking at about 50 grams right there. 50 grams of protein. And I really enjoy red meat, so I have that usually twice a week. So that's one option. The other option is just some chicken, some like marinated chicken. So this one here is a pack, which might serve 2, but I'll probably eat that by myself. It's not that much. This has been marinated in, it says Cajun marinade, mini fillets, and it has 270 grams, and per half a pack is 29 grams. So this is almost 60 grams of protein right there. So that's actually takes us over our limit of 150, which is fine. And I normally like to have that with some carbs as well in the evening, just to fill up the plate. We like to go for this kind of rice, it's quite nice. So Caribbean rice and peas, obviously will go really well with the chicken, or some peri-peri kind of rice. And then I split this between me and my partner. And this only has 163 calories per half a portion and only 29 grams of carbs. So these are great. And then a bunch of veggies, as I always like to talk about. So we've got broccoli, asparagus, and again, takes no time to cook. Boiling water with a little bit of salt, 4 minutes, and you're pretty much good to go. So what else could I have for dinner that allows for good amounts of protein? Fish is good, salmon is a good one, but the thing with salmon is because it's an oily fish, it's going to naturally have more calories. But that's, you know, a good way to get your protein up. 2 fillets would be about 50 grams, or even like sea bass fillets, for example. So hitting 50 grams of protein in one meal when you're choosing lean sources really isn't that difficult. You just need to plan it a little bit ahead. So as you can see, it's relatively quick and simple to reach 150 grams of protein a day. You just need to do a little bit of planning and have food around which is high in protein. And you want to be mainly sticking to lean sources of protein. That's where you're going to get the majority of your protein from. So there you have it, 150 grams of protein in one day with 3 meals and 1 snack. Now look, if you're someone that wants to hit a higher amount of protein per day, I actually eat 200 on a regular basis. then I've made a video which you can watch up here, which shows you what meals and foods I have in order to reach 200 grams of protein a day. But guys, as always, thanks for watching. See you on the next video.